Ladies and gentlemen, students of life, if I could sit across from each of you with a warm cup of tea and just talk soltus, oh, here is what I would say. Own your story, embrace where you come from. Your past doesn't define you, but it teaches you. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. You can't outrun your story. You can fake it on social media. You can wear the suit, drive the car, shake the hands, but deep down, if you haven't come to terms with where you've been, you'll always be trying to prove something instead of becoming something. I know a lot of people who spend their whole lives trying to escape their past, like it's a stain that disqualifies them. But the truth is, your past is the soil where your strength grows. Every painful moment, every failure, every time you felt unseen, that wasn't just life happening to you. That was life shaping you. See, there's a psychological truth here. When you suppress parts of your story, you split your identity. You walk around fractured, presenting a version of yourself that isn't whole, and you can't build anything real on a fractured foundation. But when you own it, when you say, yeah, I went through that, and I'm still here, you take your power back. You stop living in reaction and start living with direction. That's when clarity shows up. That's when self-respect grows. You become the architect of your own transformation. Philosophically speaking, your story is not your excuse. It's your entrance. It's not the reason you can't succeed. It's the reason you must. We've all been through something. What separates the ones who rise is that they choose to turn their story into fuel, not a finish line. So I'll leave you with this. Stop hiding your history. Start honoring it. That's not just healing, that's power. Live with intention. Don't just go through life. Grow through life. Be deliberate with your time and choices. Let me break something down for you that changed my life. Living without intention is just existing. And existing, that's not what you were put here to do. Most people wake up, roll out of bed, check their phone, react to emails, handle problems, and call it a day. That's not living, that's surviving. And I don't believe God put you on this earth just to survive. You're here to create, to contribute, to grow. But none of that happens by accident. It starts with intention. Psychologically, intention gives your brain a target. Without it, you're like a GPS with no destination, burning fuel but going nowhere. And life will pull you in every direction if you don't set one. What you focus on expands. And if you're not intentional, your energy gets scattered. That's why so many people feel burnt out, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much of the wrong things. And here's the philosophical side of it. Intention gives meaning to motion. It's not enough to work hard. You've got to know why you're working. You've got to stop chasing what looks good and start choosing what feels right. That's how you live on purpose. Every choice you make, how you spend your time, who you let into your space, what you give your attention to, it should all answer one question. Does this move me closer to who I'm trying to become? That's intentional living. That's when life stops being something that just happens to you and starts becoming something you build, day by day, decision by decision. So here's the challenge. Don't just show up. Aim. Every day, before the world gets loud, ask yourself, what kind of life am I building today? Then build it on purpose. Failure is a tool, not a tombstone. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. Now let's talk about failure, because too many people are scared of it like it's some kind of final judgment. But let me tell you the truth. Failure is not the end of the road. It's part of the road. You don't get to success by avoiding failure. You get there by going through it, learning from it, and not letting it break you. Here's the psychological truth. Failure hits your ego, not your soul. Your ego wants perfection. It wants applause. But your soul wants growth. And growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in correction. Every time you fail, life is handing you data, feedback. It's not saying, you're not good enough. It's saying, not like that, try again. But if you take failure personal, you'll never hear the lesson. It'll just sound like rejection. Philosophically, failure is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. It humbles you, sharpens you, and forces you to confront your limits. That's how you evolve. The people who never fail are the ones who never try. They stay safe, they stay small, and they stay stuck. But the ones who win big, they fail fast, they fail forward, and they fail with intention. I've failed in business. I've failed in relationships. I've made wrong turns and bad bets. But each failure taught me something I couldn't have learned from a win. And that's why I'm standing here today, not because I never failed, but because I never quit learning from it. So here's what I want you to remember. Failure isn't your enemy, it's your education. Let it teach you, not trap you. Then get back up, smarter, stronger, and more determined than ever. Because your comeback always starts at the point where most people quit. Your energy is your currency. Be mindful of the people, environments, and thoughts you invest in. Let me tell you something most people overlook. Your energy is your real currency. It's more valuable than your time, your money, or your talent, because without energy, none of that other stuff matters. And I'm not just talking about physical energy. I'm talking about mental energy, emotional energy, spiritual energy, what you bring into a room, what you carry into conversations, and what you give to the world every single day. Psychologically, your energy is shaped by what you allow into your life. The people you spend time with, the thoughts you entertain, the environments you stay in, they all make deposits or withdrawals. And if you're not careful, you'll end up emotionally bankrupt, wondering why you feel drained and distracted. That's because you've been investing your energy in things that give you nothing back. Now, from a philosophical lens, energy is tied to purpose. When you're aligned with what matters, you feel alive. You wake up charged even when it's hard. But when you're out of alignment, when you're living somebody else's dream, pleasing everybody but yourself, you'll be exhausted, no matter how much sleep you get. That's not just burnout, that's spiritual mismanagement. You've got to be selective. Every yes you give is an investment. So ask yourself, is this person, this project, this conversation going to give me life or drain it? Because if it's draining you consistently, that's not loyalty, that's self-neglect. I've had to learn to guard my peace like my future depends on it, because it does. So, if you want to change your life, start by changing what you allow around you. Here's the truth. Where your energy goes, your life grows. Spend it wisely. Purpose over popularity. Choose meaning over attention. True fulfillment comes from doing what aligns with your soul. Let me put it to you straight. You've got to stop chasing popularity and start chasing purpose. Because here's the thing, popularity is rented, purpose is owned. One will get you attention, the other will give you direction. Now, psychologically, we are wired to seek validation. That's human. From the time you're a child, you're taught to look outside yourself, grades, likes, praise, applause. And there's nothing wrong with recognition. But when your worth depends on it, you become a slave to other people's opinions. You start making choices to impress, not to progress. And that's a dangerous place to live because the crowd is fickle. One day they love you, the next day they forget you. But when you live with purpose, you don't need permission to keep moving forward. Let's take it deeper. Philosophically, purpose gives your life meaning beyond the moment. It's not about what looks good now. It's about what will matter 10 years from now. Purpose is rooted in service, in growth, in calling. It's the why behind your work. When you know your why, you stop needing everyone to understand your what. You become solid, you become consistent, and you become fulfilled, not just successful. I've had people laugh at my vision, walk away when things got tough, tell me to play it safe. But I learned the world will try to shrink you to fit its expectations. Don't let it. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to stand up. Stand up for your calling. Stand up for your difference. That's where your greatness is hiding. So remember this. Popularity fades. Purpose builds. Choose the path that's true to you, even if it's not crowded. That's the road that leads to legacy. You teach people how to treat you, set boundaries that reflect your worth and reinforce your values. Here's one of the toughest lessons I had to learn, and it changed everything. You teach people how to treat you, whether you realize it or not. Every time you let something slide that doesn't sit right with your spirit, you're giving out a silent message. This is okay with me. And the problem is, people don't rise to your expectations. They respond to your standards. Psychologically, this comes down to self-worth. If you don't believe you're worthy of respect, kindness, honesty, and peace, you'll accept the opposite and call it normal. But let me be clear, what you tolerate becomes your pattern. And once people see what you'll put up with, they'll keep pushing that line. That's not on them. That's on you for not drawing it in the first place. Philosophically, boundaries are not walls, they're bridges. They don't disconnect you from people, they connect you more deeply to your truth. Saying no doesn't make you rude. Saying I need space doesn't make you selfish. Saying I expect more doesn't make you difficult. It makes you aware, and awareness is power. I used to think if I said nothing, things would fix themselves. But silence is misread as acceptance, and peace at the cost of your dignity is not peace. It's quiet suffering. I had to learn to speak up, not out of anger, but out of clarity, because when you know your value, you don't beg for respect. You command it by how you carry yourself. So hear me when I say this. The way people treat you starts with the way you treat yourself. Raise your standards and watch your life rise with them. Respect is not a request, it's a reflection. Give it to yourself first.